Hey, what's up guys, Sharp Tony here, and today we have a pretty cool video. It's just freaking 10 awesome item descriptions in Anarchy Online. What more could you ask for? Maybe me talking a little more clearer and actually knowing what I'm saying. But, if your item that you thought would be cool and on here didn't make the list, I'm sorry, this is just 10 items I found that I thought were cool. Maybe I'll do another if you want to see more. It's up to you guys. If you want more, I'll do more, I don't mind. But here we go, 10 awesome item descriptions in Anarchy Online. One quick thing to note, they are not numbered in any order, so you don't think any are cooler than others. There are just 10 items here. It's not in any sequential order, so that's why I don't number them. That's what's up. So the first item we're going to take a look at is going to be our murder maul over here. It's a weapon that drops off of, I guess it doesn't really matter, but it's a 2-amp blunt weapon that drops solely off of hecklers. It's not a high drop rate. It's not really that good of a weapon, but the description is kind of interesting. Murder mauls were used by members of Ukur Thog Ramer's band of mercenary killers. Ukur Thog Ramer was finally killed by Master of Glass, and both sides rejoice. Remaining members of his band spread through the outskirts of the world, where most of them disappeared. So, what I get from that is there might be some people that were chilling in the Shadowlands, or that were chilling on Rubica. They don't really specify here, there's no specificity. Maybe they ran to the Shadowlands and wound up getting freaking walloped, by hecklers, and they all wound up dying. Next weapon we're going to look at is going to be the High Lord of Angst. The Lord of Angst drops off of, beast and whatnot, but the description is, his adversaries sleep uneasy, for they know not when the High Lord arrives. The High Lord kills in silence, and never will they awaken. Probably one of the most metal things in this game. And then another one here is going to be our Finesmith Shattergun. The easiest is often the best. And I just wanted to read this one out just so I could tell you guys that this does not apply to women at all, generally. The easiest usually have disgusting, dirty STDs. Alright, so let's check out some Temple of the Three Winds loot. All of these items have a running message. If you could put them together, I'd like somebody to link it in the description or type in what it is, because it's a really, really cool story. But the Howling Skull is the fate of the unbeliever. Their anguished scream shall echo through eternity. And you see these little ellipses here? Right here and right here. It means these go on. This might not necessarily be the coolest one. I like it a lot, but if you put the whole message together, it brings you something awesome. Jumping from freaking Temple of the Three Winds to now Inner Sanctum, which is like the higher level, the 125 plus. Temple of the Three Winds is crappier XP. We have a Frostbound Reaper, and the description reads, the Immortal One has returned to power, and paradise will be his once more. His rule will be fair, the faithful will be rewarded, and the unbeliever will be destroyed. War shall be waged on the unbeliever, for they spread lies about the Immortal One. The truth shall prevail. The intense chill surrounding the blade slows down your actions, and I just think that's freaking awesome. It gives me like Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat kind of like pictures in my mind. So our next item here, we're going to go back to the Shadowlands, and we have what's known as the Bell and Badana's Cloak. It is actually a very, very useful and decent item. It has some nice mods on here. Although it has nothing to do with this. I'm not even going to tell you. How about that? How's that sound to you? But the description reads, some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice, is also great and would suffice. I'm sorry, I freaking butchered the last part of that. But the reason I like it so much is it's by Robert Frost, and I do very much enjoy the work of Robert Frost because I like poetry, so that's why it's here, and deal with it if you don't like it. Staying with a very Shadowlands and shady theme, I have two items next I'd love to show you on my shade, because obviously the shades are awesome by themselves. This is called a Thar Sleeve. It drops off of random freaking useless mobs in the Shadowlands. But this is a lengthy description. It's a little story here, so I'm gonna read this fast. Zuma's lady, one among the ones that call themselves the chosen one. She was a pale beauty of the distant flirtatious kind. Oh my gosh, can't read today. And her intellect was as sharp as a glass shard. Her sanctuary was already over the edge of the brink when the following story happened, but her powers were more than strong enough to keep it from being swallowed by nothingness. Ooh, swallowed. On the other side of her sanctuary was the Tree of Song. It was guarded by the brothers Thar and Botar, strong and horned. Horned? What the frick? I have a horn? Descendants of Beatrice that planted the tree there in the Age of Harmony. Thar loved the Lady Zoom, but it was the love that would not be, because Thar and Botar were on other sides of the conflict. They were on the other side of the conflict, you know what I'm saying? They weren't on the same side. That doesn't say that here. They were among the ones that call themselves the faithful, and only death and ruin have come out of love affairs between the opposite sides. Such ruin would also befell the lady and the two brothers. Such ruin would also befell. This should say befall. This should say befall. Let's keep going. Thor decided to meet the Lady Zoom and invited her to meet him in Elysium. They agreed on wearing their ancient shapes, the shapes of the Zan. For 250 years, 250 man years, okay, they dwelled there in each other's arms. A long time for man, but just a moment for the ancients. They parted their ways and went back home, saturated with love, agreeing that they should never meet again. Boo friggin' who. But Thor was lost in hunger for her, and he went to her sanctuary. Lady Zoom screamed, and he was slaughtered by her guards and automatons. His ancient soul departed, and immediately the tree of song started withering. Furious with grief, his brother Botar summoned an army, and he equipped it with only the best he could make. From the song weavers under the tree came this armor. Its strength and durability unparalleled at the time. With this force, he invaded the sanctuary of Zoom. Its protectors were many, but they were all felled. Lastly, it was the lady left in her low chamber. Botar tore down the seal she had set before her door, and he entered. Then he met the look of the lady, and for a moment he was puzzled to see a tear in her eye. Just a moment, but it was enough for her to fire a bolt of soul tapping into his heart. His body was found among his men. That's not even the right sentence. His body was found by his men. They carried it back to the Tree of Song, but the Tree of Song was also dead. Without a leader or a home, the army scattered. Soon after, the sanctuary of Zoom fell into the abyss of the brink, and the Lady of Zoom has not been seen. Soon after. Oh, soon after. There should be a comma here. The Lady of Zoom fell into the abyss of the brink, and the Sanctuary of Zoom. Frickin', you know what it says. I'm not reading it again. I think it's just Shadowlands that has all these freaking awesome descriptions. But here, let's go with another one. This item's called a Destruction. It's a ranged energy weapon that drops in the Shadowlands off of named mobs. The prophecies of Gibbleslat says, when the winds are exhausted, when all life has been blown out, then the rightful heirs will appear. And with their weapons of destruction, they will hunt down and punish the hidden ones. That's just freaking metal. For our next description, I figured I'd give you an oldie but a goodie. And this is a common thing you could find, and it's a martial artist attack called Upon a Wave of Summer. It's in pretty much every attack shop thing you could find. Mine's only $2.75. We're not worried about that right now. Description. I see your eyes light up like fire. It is medicine to me. So I keep running, falling, till I reach the water. I tear my very soul to make you mine. That's so passionate, and that's kind of poetic at the same time, so that fed my inner poem nerd. And for our last item description for today, I figured I'd bring it down, bring you something kind of interesting actually, or kind of funny. You may laugh at this one. Oh, a sandy piece of goo. Drops off of freaking worms out in Greater Tier County. Little northeast of freaking the Temple of Three Winds, you know what I'm saying? This is what it looks like, by the way. It looks like a bracer of Ka, if you've ever seen one. But, this piece of sandy goo seems to wriggle in your hand and avoids your probing fingers. Ew, that's freaking gross. You could still perhaps wrap it around your wrist to hold it still, since it is messing up the contents of your backpacks and is generally annoying to freaking carry around a piece of wriggling goo. It is simply not very popular with the opposite gender, or the same gender, or Aatroxes. It probably attracts flies, bugs, and scavenging birds as well. Not to mention what your mother said about goo. That's how she got pregnant. That's how she had you. Anyway, when it's worn, it keeps pulling and pushing your arm into random contortions and positions. But that perhaps could be helpful in some situations. Like fapping.